Chapter 482, Break Through the Realm. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. Fat Cat, what are you doing? Alcyone asked coldly, gritting her teeth. Blackie refined a blue-green spiritual dose into a thumb-sized liquid and smeared it on the wounds. It smiled. I'm helping you heal. If I don't use the millennial Kingpo grass that I found in the primitive world of wood spirit on you, you won't survive at all. Why don't you let me die? Alcyone asked. Blackie suddenly felt unhappy. I have always eaten people. I rarely save people, because I'm afraid to meet people like you. I have enough mercy upon you to save your life and you tell me that you want to die? A desperate look flashed in Alcyone's eyes. She said, my body of martial arts has been broken. Even if my wounds are healed, I have become a waste. What does it mean to live? Who told you that you would become a waste? Blackie rolled its eyes. After hearing this, Alcyone, like a drowning victim grasping at a life-saving straw, found help again. Can you help me overcome my injuries? Of course, just look how powerful I am. However, I need to borrow Zhang Yuoquan's dragon pearl to support your half-dragon body. Maybe a real dragon could be fostered by this way. Blackie laughed. Tap, tap. Outside the tree hole, there was a light sound of footsteps. A woman's voice suddenly came from the distance. A cat that cannot only arrange an array, but also refine medicine to cure wounds. You are so amazing. How about you follow me in the future? Is someone catching up so quickly? Blackie shook its head, feeling unlucky. It wrapped up Alcyone's robes and carefully stepped out of the tree hole. There was a faint fragrance in the air. Not far away, a young woman in a sheer dress was sitting on a very thin tree branch, as if she was weightless. Drooping her long and slender legs, she watched Blackie walk out from the hole. The woman was the Red Wish emissary of the Black Market Excellence Hall. Blackie glanced at her. Little girl, how did you find us? Little girl. Her eyebrows wrinkled. She smiled. A little kitten dares to call me girl. You really are unique. I like you more and more. Blackie hummed coldly, if you want to, look for Zhang Yuoquan. I'm not interested in you. Zhang Yuoquan and Paige are still fighting for life and death. Masters from the Black Market Excellence Hall are already on their way. Once both of them suffer great loss, it will be time for us to clean them up. The Red Wish emissary laughed. In fact, masters from the Black Market Excellence Hall had been hiding in the shadows and watching the battle from afar. They had been watching the masters from the three powerful saint families attack Zhang Yuoquan and Alcyone the whole time. As Zhang Yuoquan and Paige fought, the Orange Star emissary led 18 glazed knights to follow them. They intended to attack the two men when they could no longer fight back. As for the Red Wish emissary, she had been following Blackie and Alcyone. The Red Wish emissary smiled charmingly. Little kitten, tell me why Zhang Yuoquan has come to the primitive world of wood spirit. I have a pill of beasts. If your answer satisfies me, I will give it to you. She took out a grain-size pill with beast texture from the jade belt on her waist. She held it between her two fingers. The pill of beasts, a 6th level pill, could help savage beasts improve their physical quality. Beasts that took it even had an opportunity to upgrade. A pill of beasts could be regarded as a very precious treasure. The strong scent of the pill could be smelled from more than 33 meters away. Blackie did not look at the pill at all. Lazily it said, Zhang Yuoquan must have something important to do in the primitive world of wood spirit. What kind of important thing? The Red Wish emissary's eyes glistened. You think I would tell you? Blackie rolled its eyes. The Red Wish emissary turned up the corner of her mouth and smiled. She reached out a slender hand. Her 5 slender fingers began to quickly transform into countless hand shadows. With a swoosh, wisps of light pink silk flew out from her fingertips. The wisps of silk wafted through the air. They drifted through forests and wove into a net 33 meters away. It was almost invisible and could be seen only by one who was looking for it. Blackie rolled its eyes again and said, Little girl, your sorcery is useless in front of Zhang Yuoquan. Are you sure you want to use it against me? Swish. Blackie's eyes grew cold. It took back its tail and transformed into a swift black shadow that swept out. It arrived in front of the Red Wish emissary. It stretched out a sharp claw wrapped in lightning and caught her neck. PFFT. Blackie's claw rubbed against the air, leaving 3 claw prints of lightning a meter long. The Red Wish emissary was shocked. She immediately cast a movement. She leapt from the branch, turned into a red shadow and fell to the ground a few meters away. With a sharp cry, Blackie's claw grabbed a red yarn from the Red Wish emissary's dress. The strong power of electricity tore the red silk apart, turning it into black smoke and dust. The Red Wish emissary stood on the ground still covered with a layer of red yarn. Her lithe and graceful body was still unwounded. She said coldly, "Awesome, a cat can block my sorcery." The Red Wish emissary flicked her sleeves. Her feet were off the ground. She flew up and rushed towards the tree hole. Oh no! She wants to attack the half-dragon body. Blackie quickly chased after her. Alcyonian's half-dragon body was quite rare, and Blackie had been pondering about making her turn into a genuine dragon body. Naturally it could not let the Red Wish emissary kill her. Holding Alcyonian, the Red Wish emissary rushed out of the tree hole and quickly flew into the distance, leaving her fragrance in the wind. "Little girl, what on earth are you doing?" Blackie angrily chased behind her. The Red Wish emissary smiled and said, "Jiang Yuochen has saved her twice. I want to see if he will come to save her 3 times." Blackie and the Red Wish emissary both turned into shadows. Like two ghosts, they flashed through the jungle. In the distance, Pager was standing on the edge of a cliff. He watched Blackie chasing after the Red Wish emissary 50 kilometers away with his 2 blood-red eyes. The Red Wish emissary has taken Alcyonian. Well, when the people of the Black Market Excellence Hall draw Jiang Yuochen out and they fight like cats, I'll come out and kill them. It will be easy. Pager knew that with his strength, he could beat Jiang Yuochen, but not kill him. Therefore, he was holding the same view as the people from the Black Market Excellence Hall. Let them deal with Jiang Yuochen. He would stand in the shadows and wait until both sides were worn out. 6 days had passed in the internal space of the time and space spinal. Jiang Yuochen was sitting cross-legged in the center, completely wrapped in blue genuine qi. The qi became more and more dense. It seemed to change into a liquid state and then back into a solid state. At first glance, Jiang Yuochen was like a round frozen crystal, his body slowly rotating. He took a deep breath, and a loud sound came out from his body, as if he had broken through a bottleneck. The surrounding genuine qi immediately surged into his body. Clap. At the bottom of the river, a breach appeared on the surface of the time and space spinal. More and more breaches appeared. Like a web, they continued to extend. With a thud, the time and space spinal burst open, turning into light spots. Like a shooting star, it flew out in all directions. The light spots gathered together and flew into the center of Jiang Yuochen's forehead. He stood at the bottom of the river and the power of the space domain naturally emanated. It held the enormous water pressure and pushed the river open, forming a 33-meter wide sphere. The energy contained in the time and space spinal has finally been completely used up and disappeared. However, my understanding of the space seems to have improved since I absorbed the remainder of the time and space power. Since he came here, Jiang Yuochen had carried the time and space spinal with him. It was precisely because of this treasure that he could catch up with the superior geniuses and reach his present realm in just a few years. Now, the energy of the time and space spinal was used up and it had disappeared. Although Jiang Ruken was emotional, he was not upset or fearful. The time and space spinal, after all, was only a treasure to aid in practice. The essence of practice was to cultivate a warrior's own strength. To attend to trifles and neglect the essentials was not a good thing. Jiang Yuochen closed his eyes. He began to carefully feel the power of the space that he had realized and absorbed it. He opened his eyes and reached out a finger. Space collapse. Boom. More than 66 meters away, space shook violently and then quickly collapsed. The entire world seemed to be broken. The sky was shaking, and the spiritual qi became disordered. Swoosh. The river was nearly 165 meters wide. It was deep, and the current was rushing. A giant vortex appeared in the center of the river. Rushing water was turbulently surging into the center of the vortex. After a moment, all the water was completely swallowed into the collapsed space, exposing the dry bottom of the river and forming a shocking picture of the broken flow. Jiang Yuochen exerted space moving. With his legs only slightly moving, he crossed the distance of 33 meters. A moment later he was on the bank of the river. The collapsed space soon regained its calm rumble. The river upstream, like a huge wave, rushed in, causing the river to return to its original form. How wonderful the space collapse is. If I use this, no matter how fast Page is, he will not be able to escape. The space collapse was the real trump card. Its power was much stronger than the space crack. As Zhang Yuoquan's cultivation improved, the power of this move would be even more horrible.